All right. I mean, this is your thing. You prepare for the Masters year round. You collect tickets. You're like, you'll randomly text me like, "Hey, watch this guy. This guy's looking hot." All right. So you once you get to Masters weekend, you have a number of outrights that you've been thinking about. When you think about the group this year or someone that you've been keeping a close eye on, I know it's a short list. We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
How is it shorter this year than most?
Yeah, it's actually shorter this year than most. And most years you really don't want to go very far. You don't want to go very deep when it comes to the Masters. In any major tournament, my philosophy is generally you really don't stray outside the top 15 in the world. In the Masters, it's even less than that. Um, I bet
Mhm,
Scheffler last year in the Bahamas in Tiger's tournament with this year's Masters and the rest of the majors. And then as the season began, it's the off weeks where you can make money. By off weeks, I mean not signature events, not big events, events that everybody knows. You know the Palmer, you know the players, you know the majors, those kinds of things. But it's the off weeks where you can make money on bombs. In the weeks where all the best players are playing, that's not a great week to try to make money. But for example, I loved Rory at Pebble, so I bet Rory at Pebble with all four majors. Um, I liked Oberg at the Genesis at Torrey. So instead of betting Oberg at now, this is where there's a flaw in the theory because I bet Oberg at the Genesis. I think he was maybe 13 or 14 to 1, which is a good price for a guy you like.
mhm.
But I bet him with all four majors. He won the Genesis. Now I haven't cashed any money on Oberg at this point, but I really love him in the majors this year. And then I did it with Rory again at the Players. I told you, Joe, I was going to do that, and I've done it with Scotty a couple times, and that's been wasted money up to this point. But he played well in Houston last week, specifically on the weekend. Is he back to being Scotty Scheffler yet? No, I wouldn't say that he is, but he was as close as he's been this year. So if he cleans up his pardon me, if he cleans up uh his flighted irons a little bit and puts just a little bit better, then everyone else is playing for second place. Any conversation you have about any big tournament at this point, you have to understand everyone's playing for second place if Scotty Scheffler is Scotty Scheffler. I really do like Henley's chances. Um, if there's going to be a year, this looks like a good one for him. Rory's been the best player in the world this year. There's no disputing that. Um, Scotty, if he's Scotty, forget about it. We're wasting our time. You can just, turn off my mic right now. And that the guy that I don't think enough people talk about is Oberg, who's just a spectacular player. There are no weaknesses in his game. In his first outing last year at Augusta, he nearly wins the thing if he doesn't put a ball in the water on 11. And to me, that's a caddy mistake. Having seen it for the first time last year and having walked the back nine 5 or 6 times, uh, 11's the hardest hole I've ever seen in my life. In my life, it's it's a 525-yard par four with no landing shot on your tee shot and nowhere to hit the green and stop it on the green. It's you really have to play it like a par five. So I thought that was a caddy mistake. I don't know why he was going at the pin in a moment like that. Cost him the tournament. Love his chances this year. He's just a terrific player. Um, you know, golf. Joe and I went. Joe had never bet on golf, and we started doing shows together around, I don't know, 2013, 14, 15, something like that. He started asking me about golf, and I remember, giving him picks and stuff like that. And one day he's downstairs at his house watching golf on TV, and his wife looks at him and without hesitating says, "You're betting on golf now?" which which she knew because otherwise, why would you have been watching golf, right? But Joe and
Exactly.
I have had these conversations so many times. golf is not linear. It's abstract, and Augusta's probably the most abstract course. So while statistics can help you, just like in any sport or in any betting, they're they're certainly not the be all end all of of golf betting. You know, I people are going to tell you that Colin Morikawa is the guy to play because of his stats this year, and he's playing terrific golf. But his two majors were COVID majors, and this year he blew a lead at the Palmer on the back nine when Russell Henley won, and you know that doesn't inspire confidence for me. So yeah, stats are part of it. And look, could he win? Of course he could win. You know, any guy that I tell you not to bet has a chance to win. I mean, there's 13 or 14 guys probably, but you know, my list is much shorter. Morikawa, terrific player, but you know, he also hit a ball in the water on 11 last year, didn't he? I think. You know, people will talk about Shane Lowry, who's a terrific ball striker and has some good history. Past performances, you know, it's kind of like horse racing. The PPs are great, but what if the horse wakes up and has a nasal infection that nobody knows about? Well, in golf, the nasal infection is I'm double crossing today. Look left, hit left. You know, when trying to hit a cut, or you know, I'm just off plane 2 centimeters, or um, you know, my wrist hurts this morning. Golf, it's really really tough. It's just not a black and white kind of thing. So Joe knows this. I go based on feels more than anything, certainly more than stats. But guys like Morikawa are going to get a lot of play. Lowry will get a lot of play. I like him better at Oakmont by the way, this year, U.S. Open for Lowry. If you're thinking ahead, he played great there in 2016, and he is striking the ball nicely right now. It's a hard tournament to make money on unless you find a price months ahead of time that is kind of a surprise. It's otherwise, you know, look at the history. You're not going very far down the list. I would suggest that maybe, I mean, if you know who's going to win Monday in the NCAA championship,
Hmm.
parlay that with somebody like Rory or Scotty or Oberg, or you know, someone who's got a very short price that you really like, or why are you guys smiling? Why are you guys laughing?
Because I talked about it this morning. I was looking at Duke to
Yeah.
win. Now, Joe and I, we have Duke from January. We got a good number on them to win the whole thing. Duke is now minus 110 to win the title, 2 games to go. But a Duke Scheffler parlay is 10-1, and a Duke Oberg parlay is 30-1.
See, there you go. I would not leave Rory out of that. Look, I want to be clear. Rory's been the best player in the world this year, okay?